Our world is full of incredible happenings, from natural wonders to impossible discoveries to incredible feats of human imagination. Every day it seems that something even more beautiful, proving that the sky really is the limit with regards to what is achievable, as well as what might lie right beneath our noses. Some of these discoveries are of mysterious origin, others are simply inconceivable, but all of them are equally as amazing. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 stories and discoveries that have left everybody baffled. Man buries buses. Every now and again, society produces a visionary who's capable of viewing the future in unprecedented and unique ways. This was certainly the case with Canadian Bruce Beach. Beach lived through the Vietnam and Cold Wars, with the fear and insecurity that these events precipitated, and these experiences directly impacted his decisions as he sought out a safer way of living. Following this ideology, Beach purchased 42 school buses, heavily desirable for their sturdy construction, able to withstand heavy overhead loads, and almost 13 acres of land in Canada. After hiring an army of workers who dug a pit large and deep enough to hold all 42 buses, Beach strategically placed the buses in the pit, connecting them into a complex metal maze. With the vision of creating an underground bunker-style compound that would allow Beach and his family to stay safe through almost any disaster or cataclysmic event. The buses were covered in 2 feet of concrete, followed by an astonishing 14 feet of dirt, sealing the compound underground and ensuring those buses would never see the light of day. The entire operation was so extensive that Beach hired the same structural engineer that created the Toronto subway system to oversee the massive project and ensure the structure would be able to withstand not only the weight of the concrete and dirt, but also atomic blasts and other catastrophes. The final compound is incredibly massive and comes in at over 1,000 square feet of totally atomic blast-proof space. The construction is not yet complete, and likely won't be finished in Beach's lifetime, as there will always be amendments and modifications in such an enormous one-of-a-kind space. Fittingly dubbed Ark II, in a nod to the biblical vessel that saved Noah, his family, and the animals from a catastrophic flood, the bunker can comfortably house and protect up to 500 people, and boasts of being one of the largest underground structures in North America. An enormous amount of labour is required to continue the construction of Ark II, which can get extremely expensive in an ongoing, continuous project such as this. From planning to labour, maintenance to renovations, Beach was required to get creative with solutions in order to be able to accomplish these necessary tasks without breaking the bank. His solution was to offer guaranteed admission to Ark II in the event of a nuclear situation or catastrophe to anyone from the nearby towns who volunteers at the site for a couple of weekends a year. This incentivized over 50 locals, who considered it a small price to pay for safety in an event of world collapse. Featuring a decontamination chamber for both people and goods, basic facilities, fuel, and its own potable water well, as well as rooms such as a doctor and dentist offices, library, mortuary, day room, chapel, nursery, gyms and playgrounds. Beach has ensured that moving underground in the face of a nuclear attack will not be uncomfortable in the slightest, and that the human race will be able to comfortably continue if forced to move underground. Michigan Mammoth Discovery. The farmer's life is not an easy one and requires hours of toil to overcome the many obstacles that nature puts in his way. Yet nature had a little something special in store for a farmer outside of Chelsea, Michigan. As James Bristle and a neighbour were digging to install the drainage pipe in his wheat field, they encountered an obstacle too hard for even their backhoe to remove. Upon closer investigation, the offending object was revealed to be nothing other than a massive bone that appeared to be at least 3 feet long, and much bigger than any bone either man had ever seen before. Luckily, the University of Michigan Museum of Paleontology is located a mere 10 miles from the site of discovery, and Bristle, suspecting he'd stumbled upon a gigantic dinosaur bone, asked him to come out and take a look at what he had uncovered. Daniel Fisher, the director, along with a team of 15 students, quickly arrived at the site and began uncovering what was quickly identified as the bones of a prehistoric mammoth. Although the team had to work quickly due to the tight harvest schedule, and Bristol needed to have his field restored to him within a day so that he could continue the drainage pipe, they were still able to excavate the bones, as well as form several conclusions based off of their placement. By the end of the project, they were able to recover the skull, the tusks, the vertebrae, the ribs, pelvis, and shoulder blades from the wheat field. These were all transported back to the university for further analysis. Identified as a Jeffersonian mammoth, the placement of the vertebrae, along with several possible tools found nearby, indicates the beast was likely butchered by early humans in the area and submerged in a pond for preservation of the meat. As this mammoth lived probably between 11,700 and 15,000 years ago, this new information pushes back the estimated date of human habitation of the Michigan region of the United States by several hundred years. Amazingly, though these mammals were relatively common until their extinction 11,000 years ago, only 30 skeletons have been found in the region. Less than 5 of this number were as complete as the one excavated from the wheat field. Bristol has donated the remains to the Museum of Paleontology, and he's glad that he was able to contribute to such groundbreaking research in such a unique way. But he says that he hopes it doesn't happen again. After all, the harvest waits for no man, nor mammoth. Dutchman builds LifeSize Noah's Ark. Bruce Beach is not the only one to attempt to build a second ark. In fact, someone is taking it one step further and built almost an exact replica of the boat recorded in the Hebrew Bible. Johann Hubers has been fascinated with creating a replica of the ark since 1993. He was inspired while reading a bedtime story about Noah and his miraculous boat to his children one night. His family and friends thought he was joking until 2006, when, after years of planning, he built a half-scale replica that was able to sail the canals of his native Netherlands. However, this smaller but impressive model didn't satisfy him for long. He sold it so that he could go all out and make an exact replica of the biblical ark. This was, quite literally, no small feat, as the completed ark is 75 feet tall, comparable to the height of a 5-story building, 95 feet wide, 410 feet long, and weighs over 2,500 tons. Built from steel barge framing and enough wood to equate to 12,000 large trees, the ark is larger than even most modern-day cruise ships and was constructed with just 7 people over 4 years. Comfortably able to fit over 5,000 people simultaneously, the structure is not even legally a ship. It's classified as a building due to its massive size. The entire construction, complete with life-size replicas of animals, cost nearly $1.6 million. Although the only live animals currently on the boat is a small aviary. It's equipped to house all the animals that Noah transported to safety during the biblical flood, and is complete with stairs, ladders, and internal gutters for refuse disposal, as well as an amphitheatre surrounded by several layers of catwalks and decks. Johann opened his creation to the public upon completion of the project in 2012, but he's since had to close it due to conflict with the local government over public safety concerns. This doesn't bother him too much. He claims to have taken on the incredible project as a display of his faith and not a tourist attraction, ultimately hoping he can find a way to get the Ark to Israel as a final resting place. Although the craft is seaworthy and able to travel along the open waters, it doesn't have motors or propulsion systems, and would require a fleet of hired tugboats to transport it from the Netherlands to Israel. This endeavour alone would cost $1.3 million, almost as much as the construction of the boat itself, and it would rely almost entirely upon donations that he is seeking from Good Samaritans. When asked why he would spend years and millions of dollars on creating such a project and then ship it away from his home, he stated that, "This is a copy of God's ship. It only makes sense to take it to God's land." Whether man-made or left hidden in the ground to be discovered thousands of years later, no matter where you look, you can always find something amazing and beautiful on this earth. From building an ark for protection, or as an act of faith, to finding extensive mammoth remains in a field in Michigan, we'll never stop being surprised and amazed at the feats of nature and man alike. So what do you make of these interesting stories and discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.